Welcome to episode 11 of the Aluminium Podcast, Apple News with a British accent. Every week I'll be joined by a different guest from the world of tech, bringing you the latest Apple and wider technology news, as well as an insight into our guests and their stories. And for our 11th episode, I'm delighted to welcome the man about tech. It's Viper.
Woo! What's up? What's going on, Dave?
At this point, all of the confetti goes off everywhere, and it looks amazing, but it's really dull for us. Because it's all in post. But yeah, we've had this before with Sam, and he's like, I feel like something should happen now. But how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me on, so thank you.
No, amazing to have you. Thank you so much. Like, when I was about to start this podcast, I sent out so many messages to different people to get would you be interested when we get up and running? And you were one of the first to get back to me, so thank you for that. Viper, we always start off with getting to know you because obviously our audience are from various different things. Not everyone's YouTubers, not everyone's tech people necessarily either for some reason. We just get weird people watching, but I love the weird people. So we start off with either or questions, and you can go in your own direction if you want. So the first one for you, sir, is Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
Okay, that was a solid. You knew that was Xbox straight away. No question, right? How long have you been an Xbox player?
Since the original.
Wow.
Where were we at? 20, 25, 28 years now?
Yeah, that is some commitment, my friend.
Yep.
Awesome. And then Windows or Mac? I think I know
Mac.
where we're going to go here.
Absolutely. Come on now, you know who I am.
Exactly. But captain of the Apple fans? Is that what you call yourself?
Captain of Team Apple, man. Come on.
Captain of Team Apple. That's it. I knew it was there somewhere. So this next one's probably going to be fairly simple for you as well. Android or iOS?
iOS.
Yeah. So we have various creators on, and a lot of people like dual wield. So I
do too, but if you ask me either or, I'm gonna go with one or the other.
Okay. So have you got an Android that you're playing around with at the moment as well?
Got my S24 Ultra right here.
Ooh, and how are you finding it?
Oh, there we go. Oh, this is the phone. This is the best phone out on the market right now, in my opinion.
Beating the iPhone.
Better than the iPhone to me, but I'm talking about the phone in a vacuum. Now, We're talking about the thing that's around the phone, like the ecosystem, then I'm going iPhone all day, every day. But if we're talking about just the device and what features and functionality that it has by itself, yeah, S24 all day.
Okay, that is a big claim, and we might come back to that. Cool. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
You're a good coffee guy? Are you iced coffee? Are you just a straight espresso?
I mean, so here's the thing. For years, I have been into Frappuccinos. I used to go to Starbucks like 2 or 3 days a week to get my Frappuccinos. But over the past, I would say 4 or 5 months, I've gotten my own coffee maker. I have a Keurig now at home, so I make my own hot coffee at home. I don't really have Frappuccino much as I used to. So these days it's hot coffee, but if you would have asked me this 5 months ago, it would have been Frappuccino, which is cold coffee. So
you could just throw that Keurig straight over some ice at home. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Cool. And the final one, and this is going to be interesting for me, and this is always the most interesting question: YouTube or podcast?
YouTube, of course.
Okay. But I know you do podcasting quite a bit as well, because you're the resident podcast for vidIQ.
Yep, I host vidIQ Tube Talk podcast. Drops every Thursday morning.
And we've done that before as well, haven't we? In the past.
I've had you as a guest, absolutely.
Yeah. Super fun. So yeah, anyone watching in the audience who does do YouTube or wants to get into it, vidIQ is the place to be, and you'll find Viper all over the socials there as well.
Absolutely.
And right now, what is your setup? What's your daily driver? Computer, phone, we've already kind of touched on a little bit, and then like your kind of streaming setup as well.
Yeah, so daily driver phone, I guess that would be the iPhone 15 Pro Max here, which I have in a Nomad case, which is beautiful.
Beautiful.
My computer, I'm currently using the 2023 M3 MacBook Pro, 14 inches.
Nice.
This is the M3 Max model, so one of the higher spec computers, but I'm a creator, so you know how that goes. I have a Rodecaster Pro all-in-one podcast solution set up to handle all the audio stuff that I do for my videos and podcasts like this one, so I got that going on. I am currently speaking into a Shure SM7B, which is a legendary microphone. I have heard that this is the microphone that Michael Jackson used to record his Thriller album, so this microphone goes way back. So got that going on. And what else we got up in here? Camera. Currently shoot on a Sony A7 IV, which I think came out in 2021, 2022, something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Been a couple of years since the camera's been out, but amazing camera. Most of the heavy hitting creators use the camera. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got going on.
Absolutely. And my mic is very similar to yours. Mine's actually the SM58.
Ooh, okay.
So it's kind of the stage mic that everyone uses, but all the capsule and everything inside is the same one that you guys have. It's a bit more. I can pull it off and pretend to be a stand-up.
There you go.
It's all good fun. Cool. So we've had a few bits of Apple news drop in this week. At the point of recording, this is actually the day that WWDC has been announced. So June the 10th, 2024. And yes, we are going to be bringing back the WWDC T-shirt. So we did a WW T-shirt, which I think we talked about actually on the podcast because we got the audience to submit their emojis for it. So it became like a community project. And we're going to do that again this year. But we're also going to add in, if you don't want to go with your emoji, you can go with your Vision Pro persona and get that put on the T-shirt as part of the community. And I know you're a Vision Pro user, right?
That is correct. But if you're putting Vision Pro personas on a T-shirt, that might be scary for some folks.
It could be. It could be. But people get to rescan. And I think some of them look amazing. Like we had Mark Sequence on last week. And his he did the whole podcast in Vision Pro via persona. And you do start to forget that it's not a video. It's really good now.
It is.
But how have you been getting on with Vision Pro as well? And tell us your story, because I know you have a bit of a story behind it.
I don't really have a story behind it, but I love my Vision Pro. I use it almost every day. The only time I don't use it is when I'm not here by myself. But if I'm here by myself, I am using the Vision Pro, which is practically almost pretty much every day at this point. But I love it. The thing that I love about Vision Pro is that it is so connected to the Apple ecosystem, which means I can get in there and I could be doing media consumption. I could be watching a YouTube video, or maybe I'm watching Netflix, or maybe I'm listening to the podcast or whatever. But I'm still connected to people that I need to be connected to. So if somebody wants to call me, they can call me via FaceTime, or if they want to iMessage me, they can iMessage me. I don't need to take off the headset to still be connected to the outside world per se. So I can walk around my house with it or whatever. If I want to take it outside and do stuff, I can do that. So I like the fact that even though it's a mixed reality headset, basically really is a VR headset, but it's a mixed reality headset, so it doesn't have to pass through, which allows me to see everything around me, even though I have the headset on. So I could walk around. I could go make me a pizza. I could, again, you can even take it while you're using the bathroom. Won't go too much into that, but that's a doable thing.
Don't screen record.
Yeah, don't record that. Don't do that. But yeah, I love Vision Pro. I think it's definitely the next generation of technology. I mean, you saw how much controversy, I won't say controversy, but you saw how much attention that it got at the initial launch weekend. You literally have people walking in the street with their Vision Pro. So this is where technology is going, whether you like it or not. So
absolutely. And I think there's been a lot of talk as well, like I see on Twitter or X or whatever we're actually going to call it this week. I don't mind.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Lord.
There was a lot of people that keep saying, remember this, it launched like 60 days ago or whatever it was, because people aren't talking about it as much. But I think the thing is, with something like Vision Pro, it's so small of a market right now because, number one, Apple couldn't make many to actually physically sell. I think all of the attention was on it at the beginning to find out what is it, but you don't have that ongoing attention as much because people aren't looking at what can I do with my Vision Pro, which they do with a lot of other devices. With iPhone stuff, it's like, oh, shall I upgrade to this because I'm already in that ecosystem. So I think that's probably part of the reason at the moment. Once we get the lower cost, that's going to be interesting. But also WWDC, which is, as I say, coming up on the 10th of June this year. We'll be getting visionOS 2.0 version 2. What would you love to see as someone that's actually spent some time in it? Because I haven't.
Oh, so I haven't really thought about this too much. But what would I like to see in visionOS 2.0? Well, I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is the ability to be able to rearrange the app that pop up on our home screen or whatever. Right now, Apple has them in a set order and it's alphabetically. But I would like to rearrange that to put my favorite app that I use on the front page and then have the app that I use less, kind of like we can do on iPhone. We cannot do that on Vision Pro, so that's kind of annoying. So that would be nice. The other thing that kind of is weird, the Vision Pro cannot take phone calls, or it can't make or receive phone calls. It can make or receive FaceTime calls, but regular audio phone calls it cannot do.
So it can't do the handoff that you get with a Mac.
Right. So
okay.
The Apple Watch can do this with iPhones that are connected via Bluetooth. So why can't the Vision Pro take phone calls via Bluetooth if it's connected to an iPhone or something like that? I think I would like to see that happen.
Yeah, that's definitely an oversight, I think. I guess at the moment there's just... I guess they're thinking the majority of people using this are going to be talking to other people in the Apple ecosystem because it's going to be that close. But yeah, that's a weird one that it's not built in from day one. Strange.
The other thing, right now, the primary input methods on Vision Pro are your voice and your hands, which is okay for navigating, going from app to app and different things like that. But if I want to type on Vision Pro, typing on the little visionOS keyboard is not the move. So I would love to have the ability to be able to use the iPhone to input text into visionOS. Now, there's an app that allows that, but I would love for Apple to implement something natively to allow me to type on my iPhone and have that stuff appear in visionOS. This is definitely already doable with Apple TV, so why can't that functionality be present on Vision Pro with visionOS? So I would love to see that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know you can do Bluetooth keyboards, can't you? And you can do things like that.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Is the visual fidelity going to be enough to be able to do that through the pass-through?
Yes.
With your iPhone?
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
Good enough. Yep.
Cool. Okay, that's a great suggestion. I like that a lot. And then across, obviously, Apple's other platforms, I guess they're still going to have to do something with them. We're hearing that iOS 18 is potentially going to get a bit of a redesign, and suggestions are that it may look a little bit more closely aligned with visionOS. Is there anything that you're thinking for the other platforms as well? iOS, for iPad? I know everyone wants iPad to change the most.
I will be honest with you, Dave, man. Since I got the Vision Pro, I could care less about iPad. Like, it's just, I mean, everything that I would do on my iPad, I can probably do better on my Vision Pro now. So I don't really use my iPad as much anymore. The only time I use it now is to be an external monitor for when I record YouTube videos. But other than that, the iPad stays closed on my desk. So iPadOS, I haven't really thought about it that much lately. As far as iOS 18 for iPhone and different things like that, the biggest thing that has been rumored by Mark Gurman and others is a complete overhaul of the OS as far as visual. But the even bigger thing is Siri and overhauling Siri. And I would love to see an overhaul of Siri. She's already so far behind Alexa, Google Assistant, and other AIs out there, or virtual assistants, I should say. I would love to see a more functional Siri available to iPhone owners. I know that's been a little difficult in the past with the way that Apple handles data and how they are so they have their hands tied to the whole privacy and how they want info to be private. But if you want to compete with your competitors in the way that your competitors are advancing on the AI front, you have to figure out how to make Siri smarter. You have to figure out how to maybe take the reins off a little bit and make Siri more capable compared to Google Assistant and Bixby, because, well, not Bixby, God. Did I say Bixby? Alexa, because Siri she's at the bottom now, which is kind of embarrassing when you think about it, Dave, because Siri was the very first. She was the first mainstream virtual assistant out there. I think she came out in 2012. So we're talking about 12 years later, and she's largely the same as she was in 2012. Meanwhile, you got a damn Google Assistant out here taking whole phone call for people. Like, come on, man. Where we at? Apple, let's go. So,
yeah, absolutely. And actually, Siri started off as a standalone app, right? So it came out as an App Store app that you could download on Android or iOS, and then Apple bought up Siri as a company to bring exclusively to the iPhone. So it was kind of a third-party thing originally, but Apple gobbled that one up straight away. So they obviously could see. They could see the potential there. And we're actually hearing now that there's potential that Apple might be leveraging Google's Gemini engine for a lot of this AI. There's been conversations going on behind the scenes. And there's also, obviously, Apple has been working on their own generative AI models and that kind of thing. So it's going to be really interesting to see how much of the stuff happens on Gemini. I would guess the heavy lifting stuff will happen on server with Gemini, and then Apple's maybe running on device. Because the neural engines that have been put in the iPhones for quite some time, and it looks like the A18 is going to be no different. It's going to have a big leap in that neural engine. That's going to be the interesting thing, I think. If Apple can do a lot of stuff on device, then that privacy issue kind of goes away.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And there was an interview recently with some of Apple's engineers, and they were asked about them being so far behind on AI, and they just laughed. So that tells me that apparently they are very confident in what they're doing with AI, especially what's coming at WWDC, which, to you point earlier, is now have been officially announced for June 10th this year. So we don't have to wait much longer to see what they do with AI, but whatever it is, it better be major, and it better be industry shaking, because they are so far behind. And Siri is almost a punchline. Actually, it's not almost. Siri is a punchline right now. So Apple has a lot of ground to make up with Siri, and apparently they seem pretty confident in what they got up their sleeve. So let's go, Apple. Let's go.
Absolutely. And I'm going to apologize to everyone because we have said the name of this voice assistant a lot of times. So if your HomePods are shouting back at you, if they're joining in with the pod, hey Siri, let's do some stuff. Let's just see what happens. I always love it because I actually record on my iPhone. I use continuity camera to record pretty much all of my videos. I'm on like the most budget setup ever. It's crazy, but the iPhone is so good for it these days. It's really, really capable. Yeah, and we've actually been hearing a little bit about iPhone 16 today at the point of recording this, a little bit earlier in the week than people will be hearing it. There have been some Pro colors leaked as well. So we're looking at space black, rose, grey, and white on the titanium. The rose, I'm not going to lie, it looks kind of starlight gold. What are you thinking? Which way are you going to go? Which way are you leaning, my friend?
I'm just wondering why Apple comes out with the same colors year over year. Like they never take any chance with the colors. Now maybe because the process for coloring titanium isn't robust yet, and they can't really do anything. But for the last 4 or 5 years now with their Pro model phones, it's basically been the same colors every year. I know one time they introduced Sierra Blue, and then I think they had a midnight green in there at some point. But by and large, it's always been black, it's been silver, it's been gold, and whatever other new color they want to throw besides those. But can we get some more diversity for the Pro model? Because when you go down the line to the entry level iPhone, the 15, 15 plus, 14, 14 plus, so on and so forth, you get a bunch of colors. You get yellows and reds and different things like that. You get bananas. I don't know. But none of those color options ever find their way to the Pro level models. And I don't understand it. So Apple, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I want to go back to like the iPhone 5C kind of colors.
There you go.
That kind of real boldness. Which I guess the last one we got that was that bold would be like the 10Rs. They were really good. I love those colors. But yeah, we never get them on the Pros. And I think you're right. It is something to do with the titanium, the processors. I believe red is a color that you literally cannot get titanium colored to. Is something that I heard. But Apple's got some patents out there for like dyeing the titanium where it kind of opens pores, and then they've got a sealant that goes. It just seems like an awful lot of work. But these new iPhones, like from the 15, which is what you're rocking, right? The 15 Pro Max.
Right.
Like the weight reduction from stainless steel is pretty noticeable.
Yes. Immediately.
So, yeah, and I think we're going even slightly larger screens this time as well. Rumors are saying we're going up by like 0.2 of an inch everywhere, so 6.9 inches on the Pro Maxes this year. That'll be exciting. I'm upgrading this year.
There you go.
Whether I go that big, I don't know. Can I handle that much phone? Is it a problem for you, or you've got plenty of space?
I'm a big phone person. So again, I got the S24 Ultra here, which is 6.8 inches. The iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is 6.7. So 6.9, bring it on. Let's go.
Absolutely. And if you could have Apple enter any category in technology, what would you want them to go for?
You know, when you were phrasing that question, I was like, uh-oh, what am I going to say? But then something immediately hit me, and it's something I've been talking about now for like the last 2 years. But Apple, for whatever reason, has not really dipped their toe into these waters too much. And that, for me, is home automation. I don't understand it because they have the groundwork in place. They got the framework in place. They got Siri out there. They got HomePods and different things like that. So there's no reason why Apple can't tackle home automation. But for whatever reason, they just have not messed with it. I think it was 2 years ago, they just entered into the Matter initiative with Google and Microsoft and Amazon and different things like that. So now all the smart home technologies are working together to be able to work across more devices. So there is no excuse for Apple to remain on the sidelines as home automation scales. Like, it's growing. It's a growing business. It's a big business. And I don't know why Apple just hasn't really gotten to be a part of it. Maybe it's because Siri is where she is and they don't feel like Siri is up to par to be in there with the likes of a Google and an Amazon. That definitely could be the case. But HomeKit is pretty good in my opinion. I mean, I control my life with HomeKit. So HomeKit is good. So why can't we have more home automation product from Apple? I don't know. I imagine at some point they're going to get into this field more. I mean, again, they have the framework in place. They just where's the actual hardware to back it up. But we'll see.
So you're talking going all the way down to like making the bulbs, making the smart plugs. One thing that I think Sam Cole brought up when we had our call a couple of weeks back was the idea of like a mesh network with bring back airport.
Yeah, I'm also Apple used to have the airport thing,
focused. Yeah. And I think the one thing that we've kind of missed out on since the airport days is Time Machine. Other than just plugging a drive directly into your device, you used to have those time capsules where you would have all of your automated backups would happen on that device in your home. And I guess Apple has kind of wanted to shift that out into iCloud because then they can subscriptionify. They can make it a service.
Right.
So they get their cut from that. But this mesh network, I was envisioning like bringing in things like the HomePods and Apple TVs to become these mesh hubs as well, like dual purpose these things, so that everywhere that you put a HomePod, that coats that area in Wi-Fi, and that'd be so nice.
Yeah, again, there's no reason why they can't be in this home automation space, and I'd imagine that maybe once they get Siri together and once they go through this iOS 18 overhaul of Siri and what that brings, maybe they'll turn their attention to more home automation type technology. I don't know. The other thing that I've been asking for, which continues to be a rumor but it's not reality yet, a HomePod with a display. There's already an Echo version out there. There's already a Google version out there. Apple, like this is a layup to me. Why is there not a HomePod with a display? What are we doing here, Apple? Come on.
But what would you be hoping for? Would that be like a kitchen thing for you, or like bedside table? Like on your side table.
I don't know.
What do you call them in the States?
I think it'd be more of a kitchen thing for me, just to have like a HomePod with a display in there. To be like a mini iPad with a HomePod speaker type deal in there, just to do different things. Maybe view content, consume media, whatever the case may be. But yeah, just a nice thing to have in the kitchen or wherever in the house I might want it. But a HomePod with a display seems like such a layup, and I'm just kind of flabbergasted that Apple has not really gone down that path yet.
Yeah, perfect for FaceTime and things like that as well. And potentially one of the things that we've also been thinking about was, I don't know if you watch a lot of Disney Plus. Have you seen Echo, the TV show?
I've seen
you a Marvel guy?
I've seen 2 or 3 episodes of it. I haven't finished it yet, no.
So this isn't a spoiler, but at one point, Kingpin brings a contact lens for Echo, which translates his words into augmented reality sign language, which I think is a really, really cool thing. And we were just wondering, could Apple do something like that with one of these HomePods where you can sign to it, or you can use gestures in the air if you're not, requiring the accessibility options. It brings a whole new level to FaceTime, I think. If we have live captioning now, but being able to translate from the other side, from signing on screen, would be really interesting, especially with personal voice and things like that too.
I mean, Samsung just revealed Google did it first, but Samsung revealed a feature for their S24 Ultra earlier this year where they have like live language transitioning on their S24 Ultra, whether that be in text messages or live conversation. So it's out there. The technology is definitely out there.
Yeah, it could be done over the phone and that sort of thing as well. I seem to remember that from Unboxed, was it? Or Unpacked? What do they call it?
Samsung? Yeah, Unpacked, yeah.
So close. You can tell which side of the fence I sit on.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, and iPads as well. We are still waiting for these iPad Pros to come out. Like, we've been hearing rumors forever. Then Mark Gurman's come out and said, nope, we're not getting them today, on the day of recording. So when do you think we're actually going to see them? Is there going to be a little event that's going to happen that we didn't know about? A sneaky one?
What for what? I mean, I don't think there's going to be an event at all. They just announced WWDC today. Why is there going to be an event between now and WWDC? That will literally make no sense to me. So if there are new iPads that come out before WWDC, they might come out in a press release. I don't think there's anything major enough for them to be their own separate event.
Yeah,
I don't.
It just never makes sense to me when there's any sort of redesign, and that's what we've been hearing with the iPad Pros, is that they're actually going to have a thinner design. They're going to have the OLED displays, and then they're going to go for the larger version as well of the iPad Air that we've never seen before. That just seems too much for a press release to me.
Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe they might, announce them at WWDC. I don't know. It's historically not a hardware launching event, but it has been in the past. I mean, we got Vision Pro last year at WWDC, so
yeah,
it can be. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be an independent Apple event before WWDC this year. I don't see it happening.
That's disappointing for me though, because that's all I get to make stuff about. And as a creator, like we do kind of live for these tentpole events, especially in the tech industry. That's like our bread and butter, right?
Right.
So I know you've done YouTube yourself in the past, and then you've moved over to vidIQ, and that was off the back of all of the stuff you did on Clubhouse, right? Clubhouse was your huge thing. Tell us a little bit about how it all happened.
Oh yeah, you mean the vidIQ story? So yeah. I mean, you said I used to do YouTube, but I still do YouTube today, man. I've been doing YouTube for 6 plus years now. So basically, I got on Clubhouse in 2021, which is when it was at the height of its prowess and power, whatever word I want to use there. And I was in rooms on Clubhouse that were having to do with YouTube education and growing on YouTube and different things like that. And apparently, again, back in 2021, where Clubhouse was at the height of its power, a lot of influential people were on Clubhouse. I'm talking about Mr. B, Keemstar, Logan Paul, the major brands were on Clubhouse hosting rooms and different things like that. So while I was in these YouTube rooms, the CEO of vidIQ, I think, was sitting in on some of these rooms as well. And I think he kind of noticed the stuff that I was saying in the rooms, and he appreciated it. And he wanted to talk to me about something, but that didn't happen immediately. But one day, a couple of months later, I get an email from vidIQ stating that they wanted to talk to me about an opportunity or whatever. So I answered the email. We had the chat, and they asked me to host Clubhouse room for them, talking about how to grow on YouTube. So we entered into that partnership. It was going to be for a year. It was a 1-year brand deal, me hosting room for vidIQ. So it started off as a brand deal. But then 4 months into the brand deal, I get another email from one of their executive assistants saying that they wanted to talk to me or whatever. So I'm like, cool. So I figured they want to talk to me about how the rooms were going, the turnout, different things like that. But wasn't any of that at all. They wanted to talk to me about offering me permission to come on and work at vidIQ full time. So I'm like, absolutely. So after we got all this salary stuff negotiated and different things like that, I came on to work at vidIQ full time, and I've been doing it since then. So September of this year will mark 3 years I've been with vidIQ. Again, I am the head of social media. I run our Twitter account, our Facebook account, our Threads account. I also host our podcast called Tube Talk. So just doing different things within the vidIQ department, just making sure that our brand is out there and known in the social media space, and just trying to help creators grow best they can on YouTube and having excellent people as yourself as guests on the podcast, man. It's been a fun journey for sure.
Get to talk to a lot of interesting people as well, I guess. And you've kind of taken what used to happen on Clubhouse as well, and now you're doing that on Twitter as well with the coffee talks on Spaces. And is it still called Spaces? I keep calling it Twitter, X, whatever. You guys know what we're all talking about. Yeah, tell us about the Spaces that you're doing.
Yeah, so to your point, I hosted a daily room on Clubhouse called Coffee Talk, where I would get together with other people that were on the platform at the time. Basically, it'll be a gathering of creators, and we would talk about things that were happening in the creator space and different things like that, whether it be social media and YouTube, content creation, personal events, whatever. I hosted this room every morning on Clubhouse, but Clubhouse started to decline, and I had a larger audience on Twitter. It was suggested to me that I should move the space to Twitter because, again, Clubhouse is dying. I had a bigger audience on Twitter, this, that, and the other. So eventually, I made the transition to move the spaces over to Twitter, or I should say, to move the conversation over to Twitter. So now on Twitter, every weekday morning, Monday through Friday, I host Coffee Talk, now called Creator Coffee Talk, and I host it on Twitter every morning now. So again, it's a space for creators to come together every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We get together and we talk about YouTube, content creation, social media, current events, whatever on people's mind for any given day. That's what we do when we come together in the Twitter spaces daily now. So yeah, and I've been doing that for over a year now, hosting it on Twitter. So altogether, I've been hosting this space for practically 3 years now. So yeah, it's pretty crazy how long I've been doing it. I mean, think this is dawned on me. I've been doing it for a while, but yeah, I've been doing it for a while now.
Yeah. And when you first started YouTube in general, what was it that made you decide to actually get involved and start making the videos?
I lost my mother in the summer of 2017. So when that happened, I kind of like flipped the switch within me. It had been suggested to me for a while that I should start a YouTube channel because I had such a love for technology, and people would always come to me about what was the best smartphone, or something wrong with my smartphone, Viper. How do I fix this, that, and the other, or what phone should I get? So I said, you know what? First day, 2018, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. So that's what I did. I uploaded my first video on January 1st, 2018, and I made content about, at the very beginning, it was about different things happening in and around the platform. But ultimately, I settled into making tech content. So I've been doing that for on and off, well, more on lately, for 6 years now. So now I have a new channel which I started back in 2022. Had some crazy issues with the first channel I started, so I started over in 2022 with a brand new YouTube channel, and now I basically make content about Apple, more specifically lately the Vision Pro, and I've been doing that every week this year, and we'll continue to do so for the foreseeable future. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I guess having that kind of fresh channel when you're also helping new creators is really fun because you get to see the kind of challenges that you get as a smaller channel then, and just trying to get that build happening in the first place, it's really hard work. It's really hard work to get that first 1,000, isn't it? Like getting to the first 100 is a huge milestone. 500, 1,000.
Yeah, it's a little different for me because I kind of had a head start because obviously people knew I was starting a new channel, so a lot of them came over from the old channel. But yeah, starting a new channel, even though I had a little bit of a head start because I had the previous channel, but even still, I was starting a new channel. And like you said, seeing some of the challenges that creators face today of starting a new channel in this current climate and environment is a pretty interesting thing. Actually, I should make a podcast about that this week. But yeah, it's interesting, man. You know, some people wouldn't want to do it because I had 6,000 subscribers when I decided to start over on that channel. So you go from 6,000 to 0. But other people who consider starting over have a lot more, or had a lot more than me, or have a lot more than me. So they're more reluctant to do it because they don't want to start from 0 when you got like 10, 50, 100,000 subscribers or whatever. But hey, when you are on YouTube, one of the most important things you have to do as a content creator is identify your target audience. And you have to be locked in and keyed on who your target audience is, because if you are not, you're going to make it more difficult on yourself to grow a channel. Because if you're putting out different content ideas and you're not putting out anything that has a common thread consistently, it's hard for people to trust you. And if they can't trust you, they're not going to subscribe to your channel. So yeah, I think that's probably the first lesson that creators will have to learn is that when you're starting on YouTube, you need to lock in your target audience. I'm not saying you have to do it right away, but I would say within the first 6 months, you need to figure out who your target audience is if you want to grow at a quicker pace on YouTube. Now, if you want to go out there and do variety content and you don't care about the rate of your growth, then do what you want to do. But if you're locking into vidIQ, I assume that you want to grow at a faster rate than normal. And if you want to grow at a faster rate than normal, then you got to really lock in on that target audience and take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talk about everything Apple on the channel. We talk mainly about the news, but I do see, like, consistently, every time we talk Mac, we get way more views than when we talk about iPhone. And obviously iPhone's got a much broader appeal. It's a huge number more people are into it. But the audience that I've built it seems, are way more interested in the Mac.
So I'll give you some inside baseball here. So for ever since Vision Pro launched, actually before Vision Pro launched, I pretty much niched down to just only Vision Pro content.
Yeah.
So recently I did a video about this ongoing lawsuit between the Apple and the DOJ, and it did okay. But what I discovered is that YouTube pushed that video out far less than it did my regular Vision Pro content. Now, maybe that's because YouTube kind of settled into who my target audience was, Vision Pro people, and people were interested in Vision Pro. So when I went ahead and I did this DOJ video, YouTube hasn't even pushed it out to 2,000 people yet. This video has been out for 5 days now, and it hasn't even eclipsed 2,000 impressions.
Yeah.
A normal Vision Pro video that I do will have 3,000 in the first 24 hours, 3,000 impressions, not views. At least 3,000 impressions in the first 24 hours. So that just goes to show you, like, when you try to do content different from your norm, sometimes YouTube won't even push it out there because it's like, this is not what you're here for. So you have to be aware of that stuff.
Yeah, I guess it's if your regular viewers watch it at the beginning, then YouTube knows, oh yeah, this fits. This is what they're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah, I know we've ended up being a little bit on the YouTube side of things, but this is why we have different guests. If we were having the same conversations every week, it would be
boring.
Especially when it's quieter on the Apple news cycle, because for a little while there we were talking to everyone about, oh, what's Vision Pro like for you? How are you getting on with Vision Pro? That's the big thing right now.
I mean, if you really want to go into the weeds there, we can talk about the whole Apple and DOJ thing.
Hey, let's talk about it. We had a little chat about it last week with Mark. I think things have settled a little bit now. I think we kind of know what's going on, but you've been checking this out. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
So I just made a video, and I'm gonna reiterate to you what I said in the video, Dave. I think it's a damn joke. It is an absolute joke what the DOJ is trying to do to Apple here. So I guess it really depends on your understanding of what's happening in the lawsuit. But I haven't, and I'll fully admit that I have not read the 88-page lawsuit. I'm not doing that. But what I did do was I did read some articles, specifically one from The Verge, how about the basis in the particulars of the lawsuit. And some of these particulars are kind of foolishness. I even think I got to pull up my computer. Perfect. So some of the points, the main point is that the DOJ is trying to accuse Apple of being a monopoly in the smartphone market in the United States, which is impossible given the fact that Apple only has 60% of it. Well, I shouldn't say only, but if you're talking about a monopoly, that means they have all of it or nearly all of it.
Yeah.
60% is not all or nearly all of it. So there's Samsung, there's OnePlus, there's Google. But
I've heard of some of these.
But obviously it's more nuanced than that. But some of the stuff that the DOJ has highlighted, such as blocking cloud streaming apps for things like video games, well, that used to be true. Not so much anymore since Apple opened up cloud gaming to Xbox here last month or 2 months ago or whatever. So they've done that. The one though that I really kind of laughed that day was the DOJ says that Apple suppressed the quality of messaging between the iPhone and competing platforms like Android. Now, Dave, I don't know how familiar you are with messaging and how it works in the United States and different things like that, but obviously iMessage is messaging from iPhone to iPhone. But when an iPhone tries to message in Android, it goes through what is called SMS. Yes. Dave, the last time I checked, Apple does not have any control over the SMS protocol.
No, they do not.
None. So how can Apple be suppressing messaging when they have no control over that protocol whatsoever?
Yep. And they've already announced that RCS support is coming.
Right.
This year. So I have a feeling the DOJ has been working on this for many years.
Oh, yeah.
And then very quickly rushed it out after Apple had just basically said, oh, yeah, we're fixing all these things already. So it's going to be for the historical kind of dragging their feet on it, I think. And I think after seeing the DMA and things that have been going on here in Europe, I say here in Europe, we ejector seated out of Europe for some reason in a kamikaze kind of let's harm ourselves kind of way.
And even in Europe, they ruled that iMessaging wasn't that big of a deal. Because there was a ruling that they were trying to decide if Apple was gatekeeping via iMessage, and even the European Union decided that no. Apple has not seen it gatekeeping with iMessage. So this whole iMessage thing and this lawsuit is frivolous in my opinion. But here's the thing. To be totally fair, Apple's not all innocent in this proceedings. Like,
No.
They are definitely inconsistent in their App Store ruling and how they handle different developers in the App Store. The way they treat the way they would treat what's the bigger developer in the
Epic Games?
not Epic Games, but let's say YouTube. The way that Apple will treat YouTube on the App Store is not the way that they'll treat some smaller developer. They definitely probably play favor for bigger developers because they know the bigger developer bring bigger audiences and more money, different things like that. So, and also sometimes they'll make the smaller developer pay the 30%, while they make the bigger developer pay 15%. So stuff like that, you can definitely come at them for. The inconsistencies in the way that they rule over the App Store fee revenues and different things like that, cool. No argument with that. Go get them. But to talk about how they're a monopoly and monopolistic practices, I'm like, come on, man. No. To me, it just screams inferiority complex because I feel like you're punishing Apple because they're successful. If they weren't as successful as they are, you wouldn't be targeting them. But since they are successful and they are a beyond $3 trillion market cap company, you're going to target them because they're just the easy thing to target. It's ridiculous, man.
It is. When Microsoft got their antitrust thing, they had 90% of the desktop market. And I think Mac OS was somewhere around 5%, and then the rest of it was made up of all the weird little, like, three different versions of Linux and Solaris and all the kind of real old
I understand
stuff.
today. I think Windows still comprises over 90% of the computer operating system market share.
I think they're somewhere around, like, 70 now. I
Really?
think it's dropped quite a lot. Yeah, because there's, like, I think Mac OS is near 10%, something like. And then there are a lot more people using Linux and things like that now. A little bit more. Chrome OS is probably a fair chunk, I would guess, with education and stuff.
Okay.
That would be my guess. That, but yeah, obviously people like Google, who Apple has huge business deals with already, with things like search and obviously in the past things like Maps, which not so much now. Now that Apple Maps is actually really good.
Yeah,
definitely. Finally, I was actually in London, and for the first time, it popped up on my phone that I could do the AR directions on my phone, which is really great when you're in the right place for it. So it looks at the buildings around you and then builds it in. It feels like something that should be on Vision or whatever comes next for Vision. I'm looking at your glasses now. Are they the Meta Snap Ray-Ban things?
These are the Ray-Ban Meta, correct.
The Meta ones, yeah. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just noticed the cameras on the corners. I was like, I see.
Indeed.
So yeah, you're already living in the future. But I just think, Google's obviously got this huge relationship with Apple already. There's always going to be preferential treatment in some cases, and deals that go backwards and forwards where Apple pays for the search Google pays Apple to use their search, right? Mm-hmm. That's one of the big things that's been going on. So I guess they're offsetting some of that with using Gemini going forward. That's going to be really interesting to see where they go with that. Like, what is actually going to happen? Because Apple's already been using AI a lot within the camera apps and within that side of things. It's just not been that in-your-face AI of chatbots and image generators and pasting stock images of the moon over the photos you take on your Samsung, that kind of thing.
So I'm just looking at these numbers here, and you're right. As of February 2023, Windows account for 73% of the desktop operating market share. Mac OS is 15%, and 6.1% for unknown. Yeah, so damn, wow, that's definitely changed over the years.
Yeah. I mean, you've even got things like Steam machines coming through now, which is another version of Linux, right?
Which I have one in the living room somewhere, which has been collecting dust. But
yeah. Well, I've got an older iMac that I'm hoping to put Steam Machine on as one of the bootables. It's going to have 4 different bootable OSs on it. One of the older Intel ones.
Oh, you can Steam Machine. I'm thinking about Steam Deck. I got a Steam Deck in there somewhere.
Oh, okay, yeah. Steam Machine was their kind of Steam OS boxes for the living room, I think. But yes, Steam Deck. You're not using it.
Yeah, I'm not really using Steam. I used it when I first got it, but these days not so much.
Yeah. It was so hard to get hold of, I think, wasn't it, at the time?
Oh yeah. You had to be put on a list or whatever, and you had to put up. Oh no, they had a reservation queue or whatever, and then you had to wait until they got to you in the queue, and then Now you can buy them readily, but when they first came out, you had to wait in the queue. But I want to go back to the operating system numbers real quick.
Yeah, let's do
because
that.
Dave, the thing that gets me is that we're really trying to come after Apple for monopolizing the smartphone market share, but when in actuality, it's not Apple's fault. The consumers are the ones making the decision, Dave, with their wallet.
Absolutely.
So if you want
That's
to be
the
mad
thing.
at anybody, be mad at Apple's competitor for not making compelling enough products for consumers to buy.
Exactly. And this is the thing, like you can understand the monopoly issues and antitrust and, mergers and acquisitions getting involved when you're buying your competitors, like to get rid of that competition. Apple is never that company. They've never been that company. What was the last big thing they bought? Like Beats?
Yeah.
That's been a minute.
And that's in a completely different market. That's not even in the, I mean, well, kind of it, but yeah, that's like I was in the audio space. That wasn't even like computers or nothing like that.
Yeah, and I don't actually think AirPods existed when they bought Beats.
No, I think you're right. You're right because they bought Beats and then they came out AirPods a few years later. I think,
yeah, because they really bought Beats for the expertise on audio in the first place, and also they had Beats One Radio, which is what became Apple Radio or Apple One, Apple Music One. So yeah, they're not the company that goes out and buys huge companies. Although I still maintain, I think Disney is a possibility.
You think Apple's going to buy Disney? I don't know.
I think there's a chance.
I mean, they work so closely together. I mean, I guess it would make sense, but I don't know.
Yeah, Bob Iger was on the board of Disney for a while. Was on the board of Apple for a while.
Right.
Steve Jobs was the biggest single shareholder in Disney when he was alive because of the Pixar acquisition. Like they paid him in stock.
Yep.
And he was on their board. Like, there's so much history with those two companies, and Disney is not having the best time of it right now. There's been rumors that Elon might buy Disney, which would be a very strange situation.
Yeah, what is he going to do with Disney?
Well, what's he? I'm not quite sure what he wanted to do with Twitter, and I'm not sure he knew.
I mean, at least with Twitter, it kind of made more sense because Elon was and is a big user of Twitter. So I guess he figured, let me just buy the platform. But what is he going to do with Disney, though? I don't know.
Maybe he loves Disneyland. We don't know.
I don't know. Maybe
he just wants free tickets. That's it.
Yes, so.
But yeah, I think Disney and Apple is a much better fit together.
Yeah, I mean, I think Apple's trying to really become their own in-house production studio anyway, especially with what they're doing with Apple TV Plus. So it would make sense to them.
Good.
It's really good.
I don't think Apple TV Plus has put out anything that you would watch and go, no, this was bad. I can't think of anything that's actually bad.
I haven't watched everything, so I can't say it, but
no.
Everything that I watched on there has been definitely high quality for sure.
Yeah. What would be your favorite from Apple TV Plus?
Probably.
I know, putting you on the spot.
I would say Ted Lasso, even though I'm kind of behind on season 2 and season 3. I haven't watched those yet, but season 1 of Ted Lasso was like incredible TV. But before Ted Lasso, it was The Morning Show. I love The Morning Show.
Oh, I love The Morning Show
I need
as
to
well.
catch up with that too, but The Morning Show was just fantastic television. My God.
Yeah. Morning Show's great. Strange Planet. I don't know if you've seen any of that. It's an animation. It's very funny. Very British humor, I think.
Severance is one of the better shows too.
Yeah, Severance, very, very good. Trying is very good as well. Another kind of British sitcom, but like far better than sitcoms are in Britain. And Shrinking is incredible. That's the one with Harrison Ford. And it's produced by Bill Lawrence, who did Scrubs and things like that.
Also, you got a Foundation on Apple TV, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, some really, really good stuff. Like, the production level on Apple TV stuff is, like, second to none, I think.
The production level, and obviously when you're watching Apple TV stuff on Apple devices, the bit rate that they use for the video quality, chef's kiss. Woo.
Everything looks so good. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up there, unless you've got anything else that is burning that you want to touch on, my friend.
I'm just really excited to see where Apple goes with visionOS 2.0. The Vision Pro is an amazing device. Obviously, there are some things that could be better, mainly the price and the weight of the device. Hopefully, they figure out a way to improve upon those for Generation 2. But I'm also just looking forward to WWDC and visionOS 2.0. visionOS 1 has been great. It's been good for a first-generation product, but I really, for me with WWDC this year, even more than the AI stuff and the iOS 18 overhaul and the Siri overhaul, my thing for WWDC this year is visionOS 2.0. I really want to see what they do with that, because that will kind of tell me the direction that they are going to take with the headset moving forward, because I truly believe that this is where Apple is going. This is where they're going to pour the bulk of their resources in there moving forward. And I just want to see, I'm excited to see what they do with it. I want to see what happens with visionOS 2 and the Vision Pro moving forward.
Yeah, when you think about the first version of the Apple Watch and Apple Watch OS, that was very different from what we have now. There were a lot of kind of features that were thrown out there and kind of fell by the wayside. Things like the digital touch, where you could share your heartbeat with people on the wrist. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
So many weird little things. And then it kind of settled down and it was like, yeah, this is a fitness device. This is a fitness tracker and a movement tracker and that kind of stuff. So it will be really interesting to see what Apple thinks we're using it for. And I guess they get analytics, you know, from how people are using it. I would love to see, one thing I've mentioned in the past is when you use it with a Mac and you mirror the screen up, obviously you can only have one display. Wouldn't it be great if that display comes up and then you could drag the windows out from that display to just move them into your space?
Right.
So you're still only rendering the same amount of stuff, but you can just pull those apps out.
That'd be kind of wild, yeah.
That would be really nice, just to give you that kind of spatial, the depth, and just place your windows in different parts of the room. That would be great. And then you could actually do a bit more of that kind of headless Mac thing. So if you've got a studio sitting on your desk, maybe you don't even have a display with it. You know, you just use it with Vision. That would be really cool.
Definitely.
But yeah, Vision Pro 2.0 is going to be a big deal, I think, this summer.
Absolutely.
Are you going to go straight on that? Are you going to go straight on that beta, or are you going to wait?
No, I am not putting beta software on my $3,600 device. I'm good. I'll wait for the official release to drop on that.
Yeah, I think the only thing is you'd need to get the $300
developer strap or whatever.
Yeah, the USB ports for $300.
Oh yeah, probably.
So you can roll it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably not for everyone. But that sounds good. Awesome. Thank you, Viper, for coming on. Can you tell everyone where they can find you on Tinternets?
All you gotta do is go into whatever internet search bar you search at and type in "demand about tech," and I promise you will find me somewhere.
Yep, and it's Viper with 3 Ys?
3 Ys, yep.
Yeah, just to make sure, because I always got it wrong the first time.
Yep.
Look, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, my friend. Thank you so much. It's always great to talk, and you are always welcome back. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you in the next one.